time for us to check in with Carmi Levy, CTV tech analyst, with a couple of stories in the news. Beginning with this one, Carmi, because, I think perhaps for parents, they think this is a maybe something on Instagram's part. Instagram saying it will safeguard teens by doing what? Limiting them to PG-13 content. Now, pardon me for being a cynic. Haven't we heard this kind of stuff from these social media sites before, and has it been effective at all?
Oh, we have. I mean, last year they introduced teen accounts, and that put restrictions on sexual content, graphic or disturbing content, adult content like tobacco or alcohol. And now they just expanded that. Now they also will ban for teenagers strong language, risky stunts, things that could be harmful to them, like drug paraphernalia. And they're basically going to use the same criteria that movie theaters use for PG movies, and they're going to apply it to Instagram along with additional parental controls. So, I mean, this all sounds well and good, but you're absolutely right. This is an ongoing conversation. It builds on what they've introduced last year. And quite frankly, if you're a teenager, you can still access this content because we've seen report after report in recent months that shows even after these restrictions have been implemented, kids are still seeing things that they shouldn't be seeing. So, it makes for a really good headline. It makes Meta, gives them an opportunity to pat themselves on the back. But if you're a parent, you know the drill. Mark Zuckerberg isn't going to fix this. He isn't going to keep our kids digitally safe. And this on its own isn't going to clean up the internet so our kids won't be disturbed by what they see. We still have to have those conversations with them at home to ensure that they're prepared for what they see online. And we're only talking about Instagram here. My kids use all sorts of other apps, and they're not getting these content restrictions either. So if they can't find them on Instagram, they'll just go somewhere else to get it if they really want to. Kids are pretty tech savvy.
Indeed, they are. That's why I started by asking, it sounds good. But to your point, right, it sounds good. But, this is more performative than anything else, I think, right?
Yeah, we're not gonna sweep the internet clean, and we're not going to introduce content blocks to keep kids safe. And assuming that that's an answer, it almost has a perverse impact on kids because parents then think, Meta is taking care of this. They're introducing tougher restrictions so I can ease back on my parenting. I don't have to pay as much attention to what my kid is doing online. And so somewhat perversely, it means that they're now more at risk because parents aren't really leaning in. So this is my regular reminder. Parents have a role to play here regardless of what the platforms do, regardless of what new features get introduced. And it's nice to have these tools. Let's be clear. They're moving in the right direction, but it is nowhere near enough to kind of create safe places for our kids to hang out online with their friends.
Important to point out. All right, number two, I heard the story yesterday, at least I heard it mentioned, OpenAI's ChatGPT, one of the AI, I don't know what we call them, bots, agents, will soon allow erotica for adults in a major policy shift here. So what does this mean exactly?
Yeah, so ChatGPT is the chatbot that pretty much everyone uses. 800 million people are using it regularly. One of the fastest growing technologies in history. Is basically going to be the next Google if this keeps up. And for the longest time, their CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, has, he said we're not going to allow erotic content on our platform. That's for Elon Musk's tool known as Grok. And he has often sort of criticized Elon Musk for allowing erotic content. He says that's not what the internet wants. Well, he posted on social media earlier this week he's clearly having a 180-degree policy shift. He now says he refers to something called the Treat Adult Users Like Adults principle. And starting in December, they're going to roll out what they call age gating so that it'll be easier for them to tell really how old you are. When you register, you're going to have to provide your age. And if you lie about your age, they're going to use AI to tell that you're lying about it. And then so once they can verify that, you are actually an adult, they're going to allow you to access erotica online or generate erotica by using a prompt, and it won't sort of put these limits on. They're saying they're going to trust adults to be adults, that if they want to see this content, they should have a right to do so, which I think opens up a whole hornet's nest of issues for people of other ages, and we know full well AI gets stuff wrong. And even when OpenAI says we're going to keep kids from seeing this or prevent kids from seeing this, you know full well that some tech-savvy kids are going to figure out ways to work around these restrictions, and it's only a matter of time before it's a free-for-all on the world's most popular chatbot. So come December, I'm expecting this to be kind of a mess.
By the way, this idea that you mentioned, and if you try to fool it and whatever, it's going to use AI to know that you're cheating. How would it do that?
So it looks at the prompts that you use, so the
Yeah.
questions that you ask it. It looks at who you're interacting with. It looks at the things that you're interested in, the things that you search for, the content that you generate, because you can create images and videos within their sort of world with their tools, and then it decides. Do all of these activities? The algorithm will then determine whether these activities suggest that you're older or younger than the age that you gave when you registered. And so if you were, younger than, if you're under 18, for example, and you claim that you were, say, 25, but your activities suggest that you're really 15 years old, it'll call you out and it'll put teen restrictions on your account.
In a perfect world. Okay.
In a perfect world, but we know doesn't always work perfectly.
You said this starts in December, right?
Yeah, so in December, they're going to put in age gating, which is basically you have to register with a proper date of birth.
Right.
And then from that point on, once they have the better technology in place to tell the difference between adults and teens, then they're going to implement this erotic content as well.
So for research purposes only, Carmi, I just now went on to a ChatGPT, and I asked it, are you able to talk dirty to me yet? To which it replied, no, I can't engage in sexually explicit or, quote, dirty talk. If you're just looking for something flirtatious, romantic, or suggestive, but still within respectful limits, I can absolutely do that. Would you like me to show you how I can Would you like me to show you how I can keep it flirty but classy? To which I wrote back, can we talk flirty then? To which ChatGPT said, sure, flirty's fine, smiley face, as long as we keep it light, fun, and respectful. So tell me, are we talking playful, teasing kind of flirty or smooth and charming date night kind of flirty? This is scary stuff. Honestly, it is.
Sure, and they haven't even loosened the reins yet. So imagine 2 months from now they're going to loosen those reins, and that answer is going to be a lot less restrictive than it is now, which is kind of scary.
Yeah.
And for parents in the audience, and I'm a parent as well, so this is a conversation I'm having with my kids, is that this change is coming. You might want to be aware of it. Here's what you need to know, and please know that my door is always open if you have questions and want to talk.
And I'm guessing by then I won't be able to read that kind of message on the air. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Get it in while you can.
Yeah. And finally, this story, because I have no idea what this is about. I thought a Rubik's Cube was a Rubik's Cube was a Rubik's Cube. What's a $299 update to Rubik's Cube?
It's a high-tech redo of Rubik's Cube. So instead of it being 3 by 3 by 3, it's instead 2 by 2 by 2. But those faces aren't just plastic stickers with colors on them. They're actually little high-res screens. And so this is a computer on its own. It's got an accelerometer. It's got a gyroscope. It has speakers. It has an operating system. It has its own app store. Yeah, this is like a high-tech version of Rubik's Cube. It's kind of expensive. It's $299 US, which is about $420 Canadian. You can pre-order it. They say they'll be delivering working versions by Christmas. And this sort of continues. Rubik's Cube's been around for about 50 years, and this is basically they've built this in concert with the original company, so it's with their approval. And it's really a high-tech rethink of it. And so you can download, old games, even Space Invaders, apparently. I don't know how that would work. But it's kind of a rethink of it. I think it's kind of cool. I just think the price for it is a little bit off. But, anything that sort of drags Rubik's Cubes, kicking and screaming into the modern era, I think it's worth a look. I'm looking forward to seeing this thing out in the real world.
I don't even know. Is it still just to solve a puzzle? Why would you need all that other stuff if it's just solving a puzzle? Or do you not do that anymore with the Rubik's Cube?
You can, because it works in the same way, except now it's just a 2 by 2 by 2 unit instead of 3 by 3 by 3. But you can run apps on those screens because every face is its own screen.
Wow.
Yeah, and so if you're a software developer, you can create all sorts of cool things with it.
Okay.
It looks interesting, but at that price, I think I might let someone else buy it first.
Last thing, really quick. I mentioned this yesterday. Windows 10 for people running Windows. The security updates ended yesterday, right? So what do you need to do? Do you have to start worrying if you're running a Windows 10 computer? What's the deal?
So the computer, now this is an operating system that's been around for 10 years. The computer will continue to work as it has. The problem is it will not get security updates in the background, which means the longer you use the computer, the more vulnerable it becomes to attacks that take advantage of weaknesses. That every computer needs updates to its security, capabilities. And so, if you're going to continue to use the computer, you're going to want to arrange with Microsoft. They've started a program. It's called Extended Security Updates. You pay $30 for a year. They will give you, they will continue to send security updates to your computer. If you don't want to spend the $30, you can just use Windows Backup to sync your device to OneDrive, to the cloud. Or if you have Microsoft Rewards, let's say maybe you play with Xbox, and that's a program for rewards. It's kind of like Tim Hortons rewards. You can pay 1,000 Microsoft Rewards points, and that'll get you a year of security updates. Windows 10 it's 10 years old. We shouldn't be using it anymore. Lots of people still are. So Microsoft is basically allowing you to buy yourself a little bit extra time before you can plan for the next thing. Either upgrade to Windows 11 on this machine if you can, or plan for buying a new machine and retiring this old one, because the longer you use it without security updates, the more likely it is that you will be targeted by cyber criminals.
Oh, great. So update to Windows 11, you're going to have to pay for that, I guess, as well, right?
No. Your mileage may vary, depends on your computer.
Okay.
But if you're running an old operating system that's been around for 10 years, it's probably time to upgrade anyway, because increasingly it's not going to be able to run modern apps, modern services as smoothly as you would like. So we get a window of opportunity with our computers. 10 years is a lot.
Remind me next week when we talk to tell you about the Windows machine, the 2017 Dell machine that I just bought online, forgetting to look that it was 8 years old. But that's for next week. Thank you, Carmi. Appreciate it.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years. And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.